So the moment I'd pray, like I remember this one, not once, not twice, but let me use this particular example, a guy that I was really into. And I remember I knew that this one, if God does not intervene, but it's a done deal, it's sealed forever.
Was it a mutual? Was it mutual? Was
Oh,
it
yeah.
Also, oh.
I mean, what do you expect? But and that made it harder because it's easier to like a guy who didn't like you and you're like, maybe I had God wrong, but this is now, more complicated. So I began seeing images. I'm literally awake. There's nothing, like I'm not sleeping, it's not a dream or anything like that, but every time I think of the guy, I'd see images of him holding me and stabbing me at the back. And he'd wear like a black cape or something. And I'd say, God, what is this I'm seeing? Until someone else came to tell me that this is what they saw about someone who was hugging me. And for me, when I'd see them, I'd see the face, so I'd know who it was.
Yes.
Now, God would use stuff like that to confirm to me that, chick, you're heading the wrong direction. So the onus would be on me to cut it off. like the way when God spoke to Abraham and said to him, I want you to sacrifice your son.
Yes.
Your son, your only son, the one you love. Not Ishmael, not the one that you just got because, not those other extra servants who serve you, the one that you love. And again, that was one of the training grounds for me when God would teach me to give up something that I want, so that the enemy, John 14:30, that says that, so that when the enemy comes, he finds nothing in you. Like I said, desire is what actually makes you fall. So the moment you're able to sacrifice the thing that you want to God, he'll either give it back to you, but now it has a proper place in your life, or he will remove it. But many of us mess up or go down the wrong way because we deal with the desire too late. Remember I said that for me, the moment I knew I had started having feelings for the guy, before it grows into anything that can be called anything, I ran to God, and many times I'd find myself crying before him, like, Lord, you know my heart. Me, I'm so gone. I really, but I want your will. So he always, he never fails. He always came through.
Thank you for sharing that. That's first of all, I'm glad to know that you are,
human.
Yes, and also that's such a difficult thing. So your vulnerability and honesty in that conversation, I love it because you're literally saying no to that thing that you're praying God, that you're spending hours praying
especially
God.
when they check all the boxes. Remember, this is a person, okay, he's like this, he does this, you are like this, or it's harder when it's exactly what you want. But that's the best kind of sacrifice to give God, because then he knows, because the response that God gave to Abraham is like, now I know that you love me. Not before when you were confessing or crying in church, or it's now when you've given up the thing that you want. Now I know that you love me. That's the proof that you love God. Not when everything is nice and rosy and all you're doing is crying and confessing to him.
Okay, I love the thread. And the thing about hearing your story, you see how the dots connect. So you see how you're making this decision now because of things that you were doing previously. Okay, you said there's something that was happening after you transitioned from school. Let's enter that now.
So
did you graduate?
I did. Okay. I'll come to that. But I'd like to, I think it was in the last year. I forget when exactly, but I know it was not after 2007, which was after I had graduated. But it was in the last year or third year when I was in campus. And remember, I had told you that God had begun to put it in my heart to pray for the nation.
Yes.
So God tells me, you're going to do this thing of 21 days praying for the nation. In my head, I'm thinking, how? And of course, because of Sita Moodley, there was connections. I spoke to the pastors and they allowed me to use Hope FM with James Okumu.
Yes. And just in case you don't understand the connection between that, Sitam on Hope FM. Yes.
Yeah.
So at that time, NPC.
Yes, NPC Woodley. So I spoke to my pastors and I told them this is what God had been telling me. Now, because I had built credibility with the pastors and they had known me, they had seen God at work in me and all that, they knew by the time I was going to tell them that this is something that God had put in my heart. It wasn't just a flimsy, off the top of my head sort of like thing. So I met with James, we agreed. So the programs used to start at 6 a.m. In Hope FM. So because there was no slot, we said we'll introduce a 5 a.m. slot for those 21 days to pray for the nation. I used to live in Kibera. So I'd come from Kibera all the way to Valley Road every morning to be there on time for 5 a.m. to start the prayer session. I didn't know that there was such a huge following of guys who were actually joining us in prayer for the nation at the time. Now, remember, I'm following God out of obedience, but then it's creating a whole other following online of guys who are actually joining. So by the time we're done with the 21 days, I knew God had done something in me. I knew that I had lived out something out of obedience. And I remember James wanted to go back to 6 a.m. and he was still, no. We are we are good with 5. Yeah, we start at 5. The rest can join at 6, And that's how Hope FM shifted their programming to 5 a.m. because of that experience. But again, for me, these are the kind of things that God has used over time to show me who I am, to keep giving me snippets of, of who I am and what He's doing with me. So that had to do with the nation. So fast forward to I graduate. This is now 2007. Luckily, when I finished, I had a job offer.
You already had a job offer?
I had a job offer.
How did that, what was it and how did that come?
Well, thanks to my mentor at the time. So she had gotten me a job offer or a job opportunity with a certain company. And I had even started working with them, like sort of like part-time in my last, what is it called, semester, because I had done an accelerated program. So I only had like two classes in that last semester. So I finished. This is now 2007 and 2008. I become Miss Tourism towards the end of 2007. And at the beginning of 2008, God tells me, you're not working. Yeah. He says, you're not going to any job. You're not going to work. And he said, you're going to do ministry, which at the time was like worship in church, what I was doing. And then he says, and you're going to model. Now imagine you're going to tell your parents that. Everyone is finishing campus with the thought of tamarking or looking for a job. You have a job offer. You've already started. And God says, no. You're going to model for the next 1 year and ministry or whatever ministry was at the time. I didn't have a problem with that.
Are you okay? You're already you're okay to
remember, rise, kill, eat. It's a difference between walking with God and knowing His voice versus what will people say. This is the thing that society expects of me. I remember my sister was in the States at the time, and my dad called and said, "This girl has gone nuts." My mentor summoned me and told me, "You're crazy." Everyone was telling me, "What the hell?" In fact, the words I was being told was, "Just because now you think you're Miss Tourism, now you're not going to work. You think this is a job. It's gotten to your head." I got all manner of insults and backlash because of that position. And I just knew this is not what God wants me to do.
But that must
hurt. And at the same time,
this is people who, I don't want to trivialize that emotion. Because fine, yes, you're confident in what God has told you, but this is your mentor.
They are, and it was painful
this because your family. These are guys who've been supporting you.
Now remember, 2007 is when the clashes happened.
Yes.
So this is now December going into January, and it's sort of like spilled over into January and February and all that. So at the time, because I was very close with the Wagatas, because we were living in the heart of Kibera, our family was sort of like dispersed, like we all had to look for places to go. Because, when people talk about post-election violence, they have a very different picture of what really happened. They have a CNN picture, many people, let me not say everyone. But I was in the heart of it, you couldn't sleep because you can hear the gunshots and there are people banging your fence and banging your, and just there's a lot of noise and chaos. They're stealing from the shop next door. You don't know whether they'll break into your house, So my dad just figured, okay, you know what? I'll stay back with your mom. The rest of you just find, we're sort of like allocated to different places. So I went to the Wagatas, and to this date, I'm grateful to God for them.
Hold on, that is crazy. I didn't even thank you for bringing that back. During the post-election violence, you were at the heart of it, of course. Kibera, there was a lot of different fighting that happened there. And Raila, it being sort of taken from him, Kibera was his, not stronghold, I don't know how to use that word, but he was loved there.
Absolutely.
So you had to literally leave where you live and go and stay with other people.
Yep, for more than a month. And it was...
And leave your parents at home. So every day there's that, hey, I hope you guys are okay.
Yeah. Thankfully, because of the community environment, there was a way that things were being, you're safeguarding each other.
Yes.
But it's your neighbors, it's people who are from around who are angry at the results and therefore demonstrating and doing all sorts of things.
Wow.
But while that was going on...
And this is just after you've prayed for a country?
Yes.
So you've got a heart for this country. You know, all this is tied, eh?
Yeah.
You've got a heart for this country, and yet the country is burning.
Yeah. So at that time, remember, there's the pressure. I mean, there's a post-election violence going on. There's a pressure of you've just finished campus and now you're thinking you've just become Miss Tourism.
Yes.
Right? And then now you've been offered a job and God says you're not going to work. So there's a lot going on at the same time. And I remember this particular night when, after many interactions with my boss, I mean with my mentor then, and many people, even the pastors would call me and tell me, are you crazy? Like, have you lost your mind? What's going on? Are you getting that well paid, you know, using this modeling thing? They didn't understand my position. But if God has ever been clear to me, that was one of those moments. I could hear him so clearly. It was those seasons when I wouldn't sleep because his presence was so tangible on me. And I was having experiences with him.
And
so I remember
you're telling them,
I said, God says I don't work. And they're like, what does that even mean? No one understood what I was saying. And this is now 2007. And I remember this particular night, I get a text from my mentor and she says, see me in the morning, show up ready to work. And God tells me, go for the meeting. So, and she said, be here by 8:30, and I was there by 8:30. And I remember sitting across from her at the desk, and God was so clear, you dare not take that job. You will not work for the next 12 months. So I'm here between a rock and a hard place, but for me, the rock and the hard place was all God. This other one was irrelevant in my view at the time. There's just a lot of pressure from everyone else. But in that moment, I looked at her straight and I said, I'm so clear on what God is telling me, not to work for the next 12 months, and that he expects, or rather he wants me to model and to get involved in ministry. Now, remember, I think this person is a pastor, like part-time pastor and part-time, you know, what she was doing. So ideally, you would expect that they would understand. Ideally, you would expect that the people who would be affirming you are the ones who are nurturing you in your walk with God. And at the time, for me, the Wagatas were more of whatever God tells you to do. We have already seen you do things that we didn't understand, but we figured it was God and we saw it was God. So they were sort of like from that position. But many people, including my parents, including, you know, the people around me, just said, you're crazy. But that day I looked her straight and I told her, this is what God is telling me. And she just told me, okay. And it seems you've made up your mind, I guess you will learn, or you'll figure it, you will experience, you will learn, you know, usipofunzwa na, you know, utafunzwa na ulimwengu. Yeah. And that day when I walked from her office and I was walking out of that premise, I had God so clearly tell me, now you're walking in the right direction. Oh. Contrary to everything else that everyone was telling me.
Popular belief. Yes.
Contrary to what everyone else was approving, I had him clearly say, now you're walking in the right direction. And I knew I had struck something, and I didn't want to let go of that experience with God. So it only emboldened me.
Yeah, I'm like that. There's something about your character that has definitely not been, but has been formed by him, because you are making an extremely difficult decision by doing that. Let me paint a reality. It means you're going to lose some friends. It means you're going to lose the respect that people may have given you. It means you can lose a mentor. It means there are people who are just waiting for you to fall. And I'm not trying to put down anybody. I'm just talking about the reality that happens when you sometimes decide to follow God over the popular opinion or the thing that looks good. So what happens now after that?
Okay, first of all, on that note, I think that's what the devil uses to make people not obey God. It's normally a threat, and his threats don't come to pass, and he will only try. But it's when you wilt that what are you really safeguarding? How many, okay, let's say I even safeguarded. Do you know most of those people are no longer in my life right now? So 10, maybe 15 years later, what was I trying to safeguard at that point? And that's the thing that the enemy always tries to make us focus on, to preserve what is inevitably going to pass with time. It will inevitably rot, it will be stolen, it will pass, it will decay somehow. But that's what he makes us focus on and expend our energies on. But then if you follow God, for me that step was like a step into in the spiritual realm, into a level that I knew God forever secured for me. Because it was like what I normally say is like he catapulted me, he pulled me back, because you've advanced in your career, you're almost like, going ahead of your peers, but he pulls you back. But it's that pulling back that if you've done fair, the way we used to, a catapult.
Yes.
It's the farther you're
Not
pulled
even a
back.
catapult, like fair.
A fair. The farther you're pulled back, by the time that bladder is let go,
Yes.
you will even surpass, and which is what happened to me.
Yep.
When I track my career and my walk with God,
Yes.
I know beyond a shadow of doubt that that moment right there was one of the defining moments for me. When I said no to everyone else, or rather many people, and obeyed God, and seemingly lost, but it was only a threat from darkness, because first of all, I didn't lose anyone in that sense, because they admire you.
Yes.
Many of them want to do what you want to do, but they don't have the boldness to do it.
Yep.
And they just think, damn, I wish I could do it like you. And they see and they watch God at work in you. And to date, they can actually testify, many of them, that that thing that I did was actually the right thing, because I would never have predicted how my life turned out many years later. So do God.
Not again to trivialize this, but you didn't do what your parents would have had you do. It's okay sometimes if it's friends and mentors, but when it enters, all you've spoken about throughout this whole story from beginning to where we are at right now is the highest praise for your parents. You are entering this adulthood where now you're beginning to make decisions on your own, despite even what the people who brought you into this world and who you have utmost respect for. I'm not trying to say you disrespected them in doing that thing, making that decision. That's still crazy.
Let me tell you what it is, actually. Do you remember when Christ was in the temple at the age of 12? And like, his response.
Don't you know I would have been in my father's house?
I'm about my father's business. When you have clarity.
Please know this a 12-year-old telling his earthly father.
Precisely. I mean, it would have been considered rude, dishonor, all that stuff. But in God's eyes, he was actually doing the right thing. And if there's one of the things that I know for sure, if you're genuinely.
Answers. I like it. I like your biblical. I will throw them again.
If you're genuinely working with God, at one point or the other, you will have to disappoint the people who actually speak into your life, in terms of the people who expect certain things of you. And it's actually biblical when he says, that I didn't come to bring.
Yes, I will separate father and mother.
Precisely.
Brother from. Yes.
And when you walk with God, he does sort of like demand on you things that will make you separate. For example, Abraham, the person that we admire and call the father of faith, it all began by God saying, get out of your father's house.
Watch a terror.
Everything that you know, everything. In fact, I asked this of your father, and he didn't do it, because the scripture says that God had asked the father to do it.
For real, that's terror.
Precisely. But this guy, Abraham comes in, he now fulfills the thing that God had placed a demand on him to have done all this while. So God will place a demand on you at any one point. He will ask you to do stuff that will go against what people approve of. Whether it's your parents, your friends, sometimes even your spouse.
Yes.
And that's why I say, God forbid that you should get married to someone who doesn't understand your walk with God, or who you've not come into a place of oneness, of actually flowing and knowing that this is what God is asking of us to do. So I would say, if Christ will be able to do it at 12, it will definitely happen to the rest. In fact, in John, I think 14 or 15, he says, if they treated me, who is considered the teacher, like your role model like this, if they hated me, they will definitely hate you. So first of all, you anticipate it. If you walk with God, first of all, it's going to be lonely, and sometimes it's going to be controversial. And then to some extent, you will definitely have to disappoint a lot of people. And you have to be okay with it. Because sometimes that's how he actually opens up new doors for people to see and know, oh my God, this is actually God. So yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm loving this story. Let's take a 2-minute break. We'll be back to continue the story.
I remember thinking, I thought I was a nice person when people like me, but now at that point you're like, oh my gosh, you're trending and people are actually abusing you on social media, on Twitter, and you have to take it. You have to be like, okay, fine. You have to be like, okay, I have to get over, or rather even that situation is created for you to get over the need of being liked by people.
I hear it.
Or the need of reputation. Same year, where I meet this person on Twitter, So they seem like they're doing stuff for startups, and I'm interested. So their story was they had invested in a couple of startups in Kenya, and I was like, oh, I'm interested. I'd like to represent this brand, because remember, I'm also at that point I'm working with. Why are you laughing?
Because I know this story. It just hit me.
It just hit you. It hadn't hit you.
No, it hadn't hit me.
So at this point, I'm working with. I'm excited about the tech PR, and we're talking about it. Viber, we are working with Viber, the real estate company, and also now the health brand that we have. And then I'm still doing off and on with artists, in particular the musicians. And then I need to remember, I did something for a politician in no, it was later.
Okay.
So 2014, towards the end, I come across this individual who is posing as the youngest billionaire in Kenya. And we have a conversation, and I'm like, okay, fine, I can actually represent you. Hashan De Silva. Hashan without the Silva.
Super. God.
So,
Mary, you've lived. You've lived.
I'm not 36.
You're not 36. You've lived 3 lives. So, okay.
So I meet Hashan De Silva towards at the end of 2014. And then I'm like, yeah, I can represent you. So me, I ask him, what's your story? He tells me my story. I believe, I mean, where I'm coming from, I don't believe, how do I put it? I approached life with so much innocence, and
yes.
So I could not imagine someone can lie to me, like, you understand what I'm saying? Or can pretend to that level. No, I've emptied the story. Anyway,
No, not.
So I met him, and I'm like, okay, I can represent you. And we start working. So the thing was, so I tell him, you know what? I have an idea. Let's start doing hashtags. So hashtags are each and every month you'll be coming. I'll be putting together like 100 entrepreneurs, and then you'll be speaking to them. Then I told him, you don't even have to pay me a retainer for your PR. Then he's like, yeah, that's fine. But then he's told me for the events, I can be getting 60%, and then he gets 40%. I'm like, wow, what a
kind guy.
What a kind billionaire. So I start putting, first of all, before that, I need to remember, first I call everyone. I'm the one who called Jeff Koinange to take him to Jeff Koinange live.
You are so good at your job.
Yes.
No, this guy was everywhere.
I put him everywhere. I put him everywhere. When I met him, and then I believed his story, I called everyone. JK Live, he was on JK Live. He was on a show on Monday evening that was being done by Julie Gishoro. He was everywhere. Literally, he was everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah, I called everyone. I believed his story.
Okay, like I need to separate 2 things.
Yeah.
There's his lie of a life.
Yeah.
But there's your job.
Yeah.
To put him, your job as a PR agency.
Yeah.
Was incredible.
Yes.
I mean, this guy was everywhere.
Yes, he
on
was.
social media, noisy like an nonsense. Noisy.
Yeah.
Trending a lot.
Yeah.
For good things.
Yeah.
And at every event, I remember going for an event and he was invited.
Yeah.
And we're just like, yo, this guy is here. We're going to get Chums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chums, nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know you were the engine behind this. Okay, go on.
I was, but I had met him. So I met him. I am not the one who put him on Young and Rich. So he had just done Young and Rich.
Okay.
And he had just been listed on Forbes as one of the top 30 most promising young people. Okay. So I believed. I mean, the fact that he was on Forbes, I believed the story.
Wow.
Anyway.
So now
but then from there, I picked the story from there and and amplified the story. He was everywhere. I remember pitching to Jeff. Jeff's like, yeah, bring the young man. Took him everywhere. So we started the events, and we were doing them monthly.
Were people paying to come for those events?
Yes.
Okay.
And then now we'd pay the venue, we'd pay everything, and then would do the 60-40
But now you are the one who's doing the event.
Yes.
Organization.
Yes.
So now you've entered eventing.
Yeah, it's part of,
PR.
concept for, remember it's a concept I've come up with.
Yes.
Let's do hashtags, let's position you on social media. So event, it's not, you can do PR without events, but you
Yes.
cannot do, like, it's part of,
I get it.
fulfilling the bigger goal.
Yes, but then what I mean, all this time in your story, I've not had you organizing events.
But I was organizing at K Crew. I was part of.
Oh yes, you are.
Yeah.
But what I mean is your own.
Your own
with
Glass House.
Yes, with Glass House.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
So the only money you're making, because you've told him you're not going to be making tunes from him, he doesn't need to put you on a retainer.
Yeah.
Is from this eventing.
Yeah, and it wasn't even much.
After expenses are paid.
Yeah.
Wow. And now when he's talking.
So when he's talking, he was interesting, and he'd pick, like, if you meet him, he would say, I met Richard from cleaning the airwaves. This is what they're trying to clean the airwaves, and I've invested in them. So, like, and he'd understand your business in and out, because he had some intelligence going on. So that people would be very impressed. The young people would come and listen to him. Yeah. And the events would be full.
So how long? Okay, what happens?
So we do events. We're doing events, and then I even take him. So at church, at that particular point, they had made me the head of the Waterbrook Business Network. So I'm like, who is my next guest? I take this guy. He comes to church, and I remember someone told me, "No, why are you bringing this guy?" And he's fake. Someone told me. I won't mention them. They'll feel anyway. So, but then I asked them, you are feeling, why are you being jealous? Is this because they were on the same list for Forbes?
Yes.
And then he was. People are not talking about him much.
Yes,
So I'm like, is it people are talking about this guy more than you? So there's I'm like, stop saying he's fake. Why give me the evidence?
Yes.
That he's fake. Then we'll discuss from there. So someone had mentioned that to me in church. And when he came, met the pastor, he even told us how he had this tattoo. It was written. He had a scripture on his hand, and what it meant for him. He wowed everyone. He had. Did he have the script? Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He had a scripture as a tattoo on his on his hand. He wowed everyone. Wow.
Hey, this is a.
So.
At this time, are you noticing?
Not yet. Then he comes and he tells me he has, it's like the way, I don't know whether you've been conned, and then it hits you, like it's just one day everything comes together. But all this time we've just been taking information. Yeah. So one day he tells me he has 400 employees, but he always comes to my office. I've never gone to his office. I don't know
where he lives.
I don't know these employees. That day he came to church. He actually told us that on Oloitoktok, they want to name a certain road after him because he's bought, 3 houses there. Like, what? Interesting.
So, but you're still believing. How old is this guy by the time? 30 something, yeah?
No, he was in his 20s.
He was in his 20s?
Yeah.
Guy. Wow. Uh-huh.
So, later on now, I tell him, I have an idea, yeah? I want us to do like a shank tank on radio. So I'm going to go to NMG. I'm going to go to I think I went and met the group director or something.
Yeah.
The editor or someone, senior. Then I'm going to propose this show. And then you will be the one you'll be there like so I told them I have a billionaire. And I want us to do like a shank tank on radio every Monday morning. So we went for a meeting.
Even him?
Yes. No, one. So they agreed. They said, bring him for the meeting. He came for the meeting. We agreed. There's a guy there who started working on the script. They even started saying we'll have KCB actually come in and sponsor that session. Like it became a whole thing. So in the process, they told me, but now you need to go back and ask him to give you all the papers that we need. So I remember us meeting now later. I'm like, okay, so now I need all this information. I need your incorporation documents. I need to know the companies you've said you've invested in. So in one of the shows, he had said he's invested in 1,700 companies. So this day he says 25. I'm like, sorry, what happened to the 2 zeros? Like, I'm not.
Wow.
I'm like, sorry. Then he told me, those 1,700 I talked about were just mama mbogas. I just invest in them. I'm like, okay.
It's all comes crashing down.
That is interesting. Okay, fine. I need your tax.
Humpty Dumpty.
I need your tax document. I need the incorporation documents. Then he's like, we, because of the good work we do in the society, we don't pay tax. And if we come out and say we don't pay tax, the revenue authority will be in trouble. How in my head I believe a revenue authority can be in trouble is, I don't know.
That the revenue authority will be in trouble.
How and I believed. I was there like, okay. Okay, so what do we take to Nation Media Group? They need papers. Then the guy is cussing. I'm like, why are you cussing? Sorry? He's like, okay, sorry. Mary is holy. I can't cuss in front of Mary. Okay, sorry. I'm like, what is going on? Then we had now an event a few days from that day.
Yeah.
So we go to the event. And that day I decided to pay attention. I discover the guy is changing his story.
On the fly? Like on stage?
Yes. It keeps changing. It's not consistent. I'm like, wait. Something is off here. Noted. I tell him, so I do, after the event, I do an email. I tell him, because I'm the one who's representing you. And in this country, at this moment, your brand and Glasshouse are like married. We are like together like this. I want you to tell me the truth. This is an email I write. And just note from today, I'm no longer representing you until you tell me the truth. Then he replies, he writes a long email about, I'm going through a lot. He used to do that. My girlfriend is leaving me. I don't know. I'm like, I don't, like in my head, what? I don't get back. Then, funny enough, we are invited to speak at Mount Kenya University. In that poster, it was him, myself, another guy called Trusha, Ketia, and Eugene Bogwa, Young and Rich.
Yes.
So I've asked him and I've told him that. Then the event comes. So as we get to the event early, then the billionaire, since we are not billionaires, the billionaire comes later, like when the event is about to start. He comes, he says hi to Trusha. Eugene is sitting next to me, says hi to Eugene, ignores me, and then sits down. But for some reason, I still say hi to him. So I don't know what is going on. Like, I don't have any intentions.
This is a predator square. Predator vibes.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking about it. Then I share my story. I'm like, I grew up in the village, but but that did not stop me from becoming who I was meant to be. And I grew up with a single parent, but that I did not blame her for my life. I still created a life of my own.
Yeah.
Then the guy, when he starts speaking, he starts saying that his mother grew up in the village. We're like, okay, how is this story? Then each time he's talking, these two people are laughing. I'm like, why are they laughing? Anyway, so he finishes, and then he's busy.
Yeah.
Immediately he walks. He says, hi guys, I have to go. This is my number. He announces his number in a hall full of students. You don't call me, just WhatsApp me. I'll get back to you. And then he leaves with his PA. As we are left there, we're like, okay, we're not busy. So I turn to these people. I'm like, why are you guys laughing? And then now Eugene is like, when I did Young and Rich, I didn't know the story was a fake story, but I came to know it's a fake story. Then even now, all of them knew, but it's only me who didn't know what was going on.
Wow.
That's why they're all laughing and they're finding it funny. But me, I'm there like, I'm still
Yes.
not believing. At this point, I'm like, can you please tell me the truth? I actually want to hear. I wanted him to tell me the truth. Anyway, so a week later, I tell him I need to meet with you. Then he says, yeah, I'll come on Monday. So he comes to the office, he comes to the boardroom.
Yeah.
And then he's in a hurry, he's even standing. So I ask him, okay, tell me, how many companies have you invested in? He said 17. And I'm like, okay, give me the names. He tells me a name of someone I know. I'm like, oh, that's Nani's company. He's like, oh, and then he says, no, we haven't yet converted. I'm like, I don't know what triggered in me. After that, I went home, wrote a press release, and I was writing to the people I pitched him to. So the press release was it's online, it's here.
Me.
And one first Monday decided to put that press release on Twitter. The press release had my number. This press release was to certain people who I had pitched him to, like Kina Jeff Konange, etc. So I think I slept in, so my phone was on silence. I don't know what happened that night. I know I woke up with 60 missed calls. And I was trending, Glasshouse was trending. But I'm like, and people are like, it's so unprofessional for you to disconnect yourself with a client in the public space. But in my mind, I'm like, if I did it quietly, no one, and I was sending it to the people I had communicated to or pitched him to. But also, if I've done it quietly, who would have believed me? Even, you know, so there was a lot of backlash, how this company is unprofessional, etc. There's a lot. And at that point, I had to deal with the issues of, being liked or not liked. Because I remember thinking, I thought I was a nice person when people like me. But now at that point, you're like, oh my gosh, you're trending and people are actually abusing you on social media, on Twitter. And you have to take it. You have to be like, okay, fine. You have to be like, okay, I have to get over, or rather even that situation is created for you to get over the need of being liked by people.
I hear it.
Or the need of reputation.
Wow.
Yes. So that's how God decided to deal with it. I'm trending, but at least some people are calling me, they're on my side. Others, I can see them telling him the way they're praying for him.
Oh my God.
And then Larry calls me, he's like, is it Larry or Dan? Dan calls me and he's like, can you come to NTV today and read this press release on air? I said, I'm not coming.
Wow.
That day, the press release was read on air on NTV. Who are they? Glasshouse PR is becoming famous. We've never been on, what do you call it? Prime time. We're on prime time. We're on prime time, So we're on prime time, and guys were, and they were like, today Glasshouse PR disconnected themselves from, this young billionaire. They said his brand is not authentic, etc. That's all I said.
Yes.
You'll see the press release. Then, immediately after news, he sent his own press release. He said he did not, the reason that PR firm is behaving like that, it's because he fired them.
My God. This, ni kama movie, ni kama video. Drama.
Yeah. It's like he fired them. I'm like, what?
This guy still has hope to continue the lie.
Yeah. But at least I remember Dan calling me, he's like, don't worry, that's the norm for someone to do, like, I fired them, that's why they are behaving like that.
Yeah.
But then after a few days, and someone did a story for him on Daily Nation. They were still believing his story or whatever he was saying, because even in that story he said that he fired he fired Glasshouse PR. That's why they acted like that and did that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, can I ask, what was this guy's deal? How do you lie about being a billionaire? I don't understand. What was the end goal? What was the con game? Have you ever wondered?
It's to fake it till you make it, I guess.
And was he a Kenyan? Or is a guy who had come from a different country?
I think his parents were Indian Kenyan. I've never understood, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was believed also more because of the color.
Yes. It's true.
Sorry to say, yeah.
No, it's a fact of the matter.
Yeah.
Because if Gashaja just came out and started saying this,
Yeah.
whatever, man.
Yeah.
Let's do the research on you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it went all to the point. What did this? Okay, I've heard what it did for you in terms of it broke that need for human being validation.
Yes.
And being liked.
And being liked.
Which is huge
Yeah.
in terms of the leadership growth.
Leadership growth, you need to get over being liked, you need to get over reputation, and I'm in the reputation business. But then you need to get to the place of being of no reputation. If you're required to be something or to do a particular thing and go against the grain, you need to go ahead and do it, despite what people will say about you.
That is not easy because we're human beings, emotional beings. The need for connection and the need to be liked is...
So rising above being a human, which is possible.
Talk that talk. So, does this crisis, first and foremost, the reason why I like bringing a certain age group to CTA, there's a couple of young people who people have asked me to interview in CTA, and I'm like, there's a power of time in life. Time in life throws you all sorts of lemons. You get what I mean? And it's not to make lemonade juice. It is to start crying, to help you with your tears. It's because of the ups and downs of life. If you watched Phil City, I talked about the pit, the prison, Potiphar's house, palace. Not in that order, but yes. This is now you as a company. You get what I mean?
Yes.
What does that lull do for you?
It's the making of a leader.
Ooh. Okay. Hey. Cucumbers.
It was required, especially the madness I saw on Twitter, which came again in 2018 because Twitter started doing what we call, memories. Can you imagine? So it's a making of a leader. And you have to get these things to be able to stand as a leader.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, there was one time I've trended as a gospel musician. I trended in Gafla, days of Gafla.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but you loved me. You loved me yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, how are you not loving me today?
Yeah.
It's something that's very difficult for people. And I see a lot of influencers going through that thing now.
Yeah.
When you say the making of a leader, just expound a little bit more. And do you have to go through a crisis to still learn those lessons?
You know, you were talking about the human nature, and we are going through, for me, my journey has been going through the journey of overcoming that. So I have to be instilled with certain aspects to make me become the leader that I have not seen yet.
Yeah.
So I've seen all types of leadership, but that's not it yet. So this is where I'm going. So for my journey, I have to go through different processes that are building me up to become the leader that has not been seen. So in overcoming that nature, that is the human nature, certain things have to come my way to sharpen me. It's like the making of the diamond. It has to go through pressure. Yeah.
You know what you've said is so profound. If you want to get to a certain perspective of leadership, in your own version, you need to do your 27 years in prison or whatever it is that will be used to sharpen you to get to here. It's very funny. And I always tell people, go and watch The Purpose of the Prison on CTA. It's a conversation I did with Julian Kula. And he says the prison for Joseph was the final sharpening point of his life so that God can now write the story of his life using him. So for you, this crisis, PR crisis, association with a person of bad character, and how you would handle it, and all that would come your way was part of the things using to sharpen you.
Yeah. and making sure that I didn't go spinning or telling a lie, but also presenting that story in integrity. Because now from there I learned that, because they would teach us, or they'd say that, in PR you have to spin a story. I was like, I'm not going to spin. It's better we tell the story outright. This is what happened, etc. And then within 3 years it will be over, instead of spinning and then 10 years later the story comes back again. So that's why glass house, integrity. You see through, you see what you see is what you get, and much, much more.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are there any positive things that come out of that?
Yes. I mean, everyone is like, yo, you put him everywhere.
It's like what I'm saying now. I'm like, you guys put him everywhere.
Yes.
Like that shows the behind the scenes hard work.
Yeah, yeah. So people, there's a guy who even calls like, you did that for Hashan, you have to do it for me. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Here is a contract. So other people didn't want to sign, but there's a lot of hype of clients coming in who wanted us. The real estate guy came back, he's like, yeah, I need to be all over like what you did with that guy, with Hashan. Everyone would come referring us to Hashan. But now on the flip side, when it comes now to the media for a long time, and I don't know whether it's it's reporters, they always, each time would send a press release, they'll be like, see, you are the guys who represented that guy. How do I know this story is real? Imagine just...
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Yeah, so we got that a lot.
Did that make you do due diligence on your clients?
Yes, even that press release says from going forward, we'll be doing due diligence to our clients, and we apologize to the public. I was just honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it knock you down?
I mean, yeah, I had to go through that process of, I thought people liked me.
How long is that process?
It's
months?
No, just a week. I mean, they're clients who need to be served. I don't have time
You have to move on.
Yeah, you have to move on.
It's a rare thing that very few people go through.
Yeah.
What it is that you went through. When the country stops to have a conversation about you from a negative perspective.
Yeah.
I have empathy for politicians as much as I don't know them or understand them or even like them.
Yeah.
I have empathy for them when a whole people are spewing life and death in the power of the tongue. So those are not dead words that fall on people. You need something more than your human self to be able to block those words.
Yeah. You need God, and that's what I'm talking about, going beyond the human nature to become that leader that is not just any leader that you've seen on earth.
Hey, we're taking a slight break, but I want to say something. Thank you. I've gotten over 600 requests for people to sit here.
Yeah.
And the caution, and I'm saying this on camera so people may understand, I'm so cautious before putting somebody here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of behind the scenes work that we do before we allow you to sit on this seat.
Yeah.
There are CTAs that we have shot and never put out.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as I don't want to have a Hashan Silva situation, especially in a seat like here where young people are taking life notes from you and aspiring to be like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're coming back in a bit.